following Willacy film, Inside Morisset, has some scenes and dialogue of a graphic nature. They have been included in the special to preserve its realism and integrity. Some parents may wish to exercise discretion in regard to younger members of the family.
This is a beautiful place. All this wonderful bushland right on the shore of Lake Macquarie, only about 2 hours from Sydney. But as you look around this park-like setting, you start to get the feeling that something is wrong. You see people sitting quietly behind wire fences while the kangaroos hop around freely. Morrisset may not look like a psychiatric hospital, but that's what it is. A place for men and women who are mentally retarded or suffering some form of mental illness. What makes Morisset special is that this is the place where other psychiatric hospitals send their most violent patients. And Morisset also has been given the task of caring for the criminally insane. For some, Morisset is the end of the road. But for others, it can be a sanctuary or an asylum, a hospital or a jail, maybe just a place for time out. Step back from the pressures and regather your wits. As a nurse, Maurice Brown sees them coming here time and again, sometimes willingly, sometimes not. All it takes is a certificate stating you are in need of psychiatric attention, to remove you from the outer world, suspend your rights until you are assessed by psychiatrists, and if need be, magistrates. In the case of John, all it took was a violent outburst against his mother.
Well, John, what have you been up to?
Nothing.
Nothing? That's not
Much.
Oh, no.
Nothing much. No, I smashing wardrobes, smashing mirrors.
Why have you been doing that?
Because Mum got me frustrated.
Your mum got you frustrated. Thanks,
Yep.
mate. That's fine. I just, when the doctor rings, I'll find out if he wants you to hang around. Your mum got you frustrated. How'd she do that?
Just nagging.
Nagging you. And have you've been in Curry Hospital for a while?
Yeah.
How long?
Since Monday.
Since Monday. Why did you admit yourself to Curry Hospital?
I never, Dr. Wong did.
I see. And what happened that they decided to send you down here today?
Well, I walked out of the place today.
Ah, right. Where were you going to go?
I went home. Got changed.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for the doctor to come, we'll start filling in some of those papers. What do you think of coming down here?
I don't know. I didn't like it last time, because there was nothing to get a punch in the mouth every day and put in the room and bash shit out of you.
When you were here last time?
7 years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not in this ward. Not in this
What ward was that in?
In 19.
Was it? Find that hard to believe.
Well, that's what went on.
Were you misbehaving?
Nope. When you're doing nothing, they just come up and go bang.
Were they? That's not nice, is it?
No.
Well, I can assure you that doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, good.
Good.
This is Ward 19, and it's second in notoriety only to the infamous Ward 21. Both hold the criminally insane, or patients with a history of violence. These men are held under strict security, and the nursing is hazardous, even though these men have improved to the point where they are allowed to leave Ward 21.
Good morning, Barry.
Some are so antisocial, they need to be locked in individual cells each night. Most patients accept the routine and get up when told at 6:30. But not George. George always resists.
Time to get up.
Don't get too close. He once made a living out of fighting, and he is still belligerent.
George, time to get up, George. George, you going to make your bed?
Yeah, best I can, sir.
All right.
Best I can, up, cold. Both, sir. Both, sir, I got them. The worst.
Here's another man named John. His thoughts often seem scrambled.
I can't speak to them.
He's had 4 strokes,
I lost time.
and his brain is a mass of scar tissue.
Ooh, she's fucking cold.
Just wait there for a minute.
There's a nice cup of tea out there waiting for you.
Yes, there's someone here waiting for you too.
Come on, George. Sit up, mate. Come on, sit up. Come on.
Keep me going, sir.
Sit up, George.
Then wait, please.
All right.
Then away you. I'll drive you.
All right, get up.
You don't make my bed for me.
Well, you get up now. Come on. Not missing about. Out of bed and get dressed. Come on. Get dressed now.
Well, keep wiping me too this morning too.
Make your bed
I'm a killer.
after you get dressed. Come on.
I've killed one man. I've killed a man yet. I will.
Enough talk. Just get dressed. Come on.
Big arms. You keep on wiping this morning too.
Come on, George. Hop up. Nice warm shower out there.
How do? Just wait there, mate. That's all I want you to do.
Why don't you want to get up, George?
Not down. Just a minute.
Why don't you get one?
In George's cell, his shoes, and indeed all other objects, are removed because he tends to throw them at those who try to get him out of bed. It's a tough ward, all right, but Nurse Les Wheeler is used to it and even seems to like it that way. He has a talent for a job that few could handle.
We've often had phone calls from people saying, look, we can't handle this patient, he's built the staff up, we want to send him up. And we usually say to them, why can't you handle him? But they hit us. We say, well, what are they going to do to us? Same trick. They hit us too. But we usually manage to talk them down. We don't get too many fights between the patient and staff.
Give it a hand, George. You've been a while.
Why don't you take it all? Take it off there. Come on. Let me go. Oh,
What's your arm there?
I know.
Take your hand and put up here. Well, who'd like some more? More egg. Thank you, sir. More egg. Thank you, sir. Well, can you read that for me, Jeffrey? Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. You're done very much.
Ron Jones, you're on a diet. Take down, please, you're on a diet. Now, you're on a diet. You know you're on a diet. Next, please. Come on. We have confidence what we can do. We treat them as men. More if you'd like it, more egg. And we often say, oh, well, if you want to act rough, we can act rough too. And they sort of look at you and say, oh, all right. And that's it. They're good patients.
Get on the nose there, mate.
Ray,
We had a patient come in from Kenmore. He used to bash all the staff up. He came in. He said, I'm not staying in this place. This place is a hole. I'm staying here, and raced for the fence. And I was on his tail, and as soon as he turned around and realised on his tail, he was going to do me, fight me. So he sort of threw a couple of punches, and he ended up on the ground, and he said, well, geez, he said, they wouldn't do that to me at Sydney Hospital or the Kenmore Hospital. See, we're willing to grab a patient and not just try to talk to him. If you can talk to him, you'll talk to him. But if you can't talk to him, we'll grab him. Physically hold him, restrain him. That's about what we do here.
Come on, Georgie, I'm going to wash the veranda, mate. Come on.
Come on, George, you're going to stop making and clean the floor up, matey.
If a patient throws a punch at you, put your hand up. But mainly you sort of grab them. Not 1, 2, 3 nurses grab first so you can't hurt them. You only have to do it once, and they realise that you mean business.
Glenn, get your hand with this bloke, please.
Come on, George. We need you outside, mate.
Come on, George. Come on, fight you all right. Let me go here. I'll sit there.
Come
around. Sit down with George, don't fight me.
You are dead. You get through, you bastard. You come back here, I'll let you this tin, you bastard. That's what I'll do to you, you...
I've been hurt myself. I've been off on compo. Broken ribs, 3 broken ribs. 1 punch, because I was trying to talk a patient down. So I ended up getting punched in the ribs.
From New Guinea originally. I was in an orphanage. I was taken out at about 2.5 years of age and placed in a foster home with this Irish family. And then at 10 they put me in a boys' home. I came back to them for a short while, and at 15 they asked me to leave. And I had no money, no food and no job. And this wonderful old lady up the road called Mrs. Allison took me in and fed me and clothed me, got me a job in the railways. And so I lived with her for 7 or 8 years. And then she died suddenly of a heart attack, and I was out on the street again. So I was once again on my own. And from there I graduated to jail. I was doing 90 days for vagrancy, and I was homosexually attacked in jail, which is quite common these days. And the chappie who I was in the cell with did it to me, and we had a fight. I struck him with an iron bar, and I've ended up killing him. And I have governor's pleasure now, because the authorities felt that I was mentally ill for what I did.
Governor's pleasure can be a life sentence in the very real sense. It can go on forever. Already Laurie has now lived in Morisset longer than he has lived anywhere else in his life. And his story is one of the many puzzles with which I was confronted at Morisset. The very idea of a man going to jail on a vagrancy charge, being attacked in jail homosexually, and ending up here for so long, leaves a lot of questions unanswered. We sought the opinion of the hospital's medical superintendent, Dr. Les Darcy, and with Laurie's agreement, Dr. Darcy gave us his assessment.
He has a serious psychiatric illness which is under control most of the time with medication, but when his anxiety level rises, his paranoid ideas come out again, and he believes that there are plots against him and we're involved, and he becomes very aggressive at times.
He says that he got picked up for vagrancy,
Yes.
and things went bad when he was the subject of a homosexual attack in jail, and then killed the man with an iron bar.
Yes, well, he tells us that that he was attacked homosexually, but in fact other evidence closer to the time of the offence suggested that he believed at that time that the other prisoner had put salt in the sugar container in the cell, and he was annoyed about it.
That was rain dancers, Mo.
Ward 13 is one of the 2 admission wards here at Morisset. If you're brought here, you may remain here, or you could be sent to another ward dealing with special problems. But it's here that the psychiatrists and magistrates must determine at what point abnormal behaviour constitutes mental illness. John Stace has been here about 3 weeks now. It's not his first time here. And the story of how he came to be admitted on this occasion is, to say the least, unusual.
I'd been all the way up into Queensland, up through St George, and through the Moonies, and out into Dalby. I was looking at a place to buy up there. Anyway, on the way back, it would have been about 8 or 10 miles north of my hometown. I ran out of petrol. This was about 9:30 or 10 o'clock Sunday morning. Anyhow, I tried to wave some motorists down to get some petrol. I'm out on my crutches. Didn't feel like walking. It was only about 4 or 5 miles of a nearest service station. I thought I could wave a motorist down to get some petrol. Nobody stopped. Anyhow, this, like I said, this is about 9:30 or so in the morning. Sit there all day, nothing to eat, cars going north and south all the time. Dark comes, so I got a spotlight out. I had a spotlight in the car, so, and I tried to wave some motorists down with the spotlight. Anyhow, they wouldn't stop still. So then I put my crutches out in the road, and a couple of people stopped. Yeah, what's the problem? I'm out of petrol, mate. Oh, what are your crutches doing on the road? I said I put them there in the hopes that somebody'd stop so I could ask for some help. Oh, okay, we'll see if we can help you. Yeah, a couple of hours go by and still no help come, so that's when I got the spotlight out and I started hitting people right in the eyes with. Put my artificial leg out there and a big bus just ran straight over the top of it. Carted it down the road, smashed it up. Anyhow, next thing I know, the coppers come out from my hometown. Two of them, pretty stupid looking gloves they are. Yeah, they carted me into the cooler, locked me up, and then next thing sent me down to Morisset for doing strange things, I reckon. I reckon they were doing strange things. Well, truck drivers, when they break down, you know, they put triangles out to show there's something wrong. So I put my leg out. Yeah, I reckon if I was driving along somewhere and I seen an artificial leg out in the middle of the road or even a pair of crutches, I reckon I'd have to stop to see what it was about. Because it is strange. It's unusual. You don't see an artificial leg or a pair of crutches out in the middle of the road every day of the week. And if I seen something like that, I reckon I'd have to stop to see what it was all about. Funny thing, that, I ran out of petrol, and that's what got me back in here.
He's been here, I think, 3 times now. John, he is a character. He's a very colourful sort of a character. He does get ill from time to time, usually because he stops taking his medication. But when he gets ill, he does some fairly strange things that bring him to the attention of the police and the rest of the community where he lives. John is always very vocal and usually abusive when he first comes to hospital, and rather difficult to take for a while, but generally after a few days and he gets back onto the medication that suits him, he settles down, and I find John quite a nice guy and a very likeable character, really.
I've done some strange things. Let's say I've tried to be an individual.
What?
No train strike tomorrow?
No, it's no
If you do anything individualistic in this world here, you're dubbed a nut.
Dr. Darcy believes there is at least a little hope for each of his patients. Without experience, it's hard to dispute that. But walking in for the first time, it's very easy to get the feeling that many have close to no chance of improvement. They appear to be time servers. The drug trolley is the only persistent, evident sign of treatment. Mostly it contains depressants, downers, which are so strong they would put most of us into a deep sleep. But sometimes the drugs fail to work. Sometimes there are side effects. And when all else fails to arrest a deep, often suicidal depression, they send for this box. It sends an electrical charge through the brain. We know it as shock treatment. The hospital calls it ECT, electroconvulsive therapy.
How long since you've had it, Ethel? Since you've had ECT?
4 weeks, and
4 weeks, is it? Okay, go to sleep in a few minutes.
No one knows quite how it works. But in cases of depression as severe as Ethel's, a course of up to 8 treatments does produce results.
That's right, just like that. Be a bit of paste, give it a good rub in.
Peggy has tried massive doses of ECT or shock treatment and medication. She's a manic depressive, which means that it's a continual challenge to match the dramatic changes in her mood with the required changes of treatment.
Peggy, what happened to you that started it all?
Well, I don't know. I woke up one morning and I couldn't go to work. 38 years ago. I was a married woman. I had a daughter 8 years old. Very happy, had a lovely home and everything. I was a manageress of a chemist shop in the beauty section. I'd been there in that section for 5 years. I just couldn't go to work, so I stayed home, crying. I couldn't cook my dinner. It just went on and on and on. I let it go on for 9 months and tried to take my life.
With someone like Peggy, who's our resident manic, I guess you could say, her swings have become so close together over the years that even with the speed that we change a medication to accommodate her ups and downs, we still don't seem to be able to stop the actual swings in her mood. And when she gets really high, she's just a total disturbance to the whole ward. She doesn't sleep for maybe 3 or 4 days at a time. Her behaviour becomes very degraded, and her personal hygiene becomes nothing. She doesn't care. She urinates on the floor. She defecates on the floor. She attacks other patients for no reason whatsoever, physically as well as verbally. She attacks the staff almost continually. Luckily, she's getting old and frail now, and she's not all that adept at attacking people, but she's still, if she catches you off guard, she pulls your hair or she scratches with her fingernails or whatever. She's very, very trying, and she's, as I said, she's like that sometimes for a whole fortnight.
Peggy's moods are so extreme and so unpredictable that they defy preventive treatment. When she is depressed, the very thought of having shock treatment makes everything that much worse.
Every time I need shock treatment, the first day I get depressed, I start deciding how I'm going to take my life. And I've stolen knives and they found them. And I've been going to commit suicide even up till yesterday, and I get better so quickly. Just as quickly as it comes on, it goes off.
Why are you frightened?
Because I'm frightened as I'll start on it before I'm asleep. And I'll have it like I did in the old days.
Without anaesthetic?
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, can I move my hands?
Yes, sure.
You hit the ceiling, you hit the bed, you hit the ceiling, and you wake up. And they have two, down at Prince Alfred, they had 2 extras to hold you on the bed. And you saw them when you went in. And they leaned over you before they gave you the treatment. Now I had ECT here. I had 12 here. I had 6 in Prince Alfred. I had 12 here before they decided they were going to give shock treatment with the anaesthetic. And it's really wonderful. I love going off to sleep, but I'm terrified until I start going off to sleep. And you can't do anything about it.
Are you ready then? Okay. There we go. There we go. All finished. There we are. He's having a bilateral fit now. Only a fairly short fit that he has.
He's breathing now.
Now he's breathing and everything will be okay in a few minutes.
So how many times have you had shock treatment?
178.
How many?
178.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Too many. The last doctor I had 6 months ago said that I had 177 too many, and I was too old for any more. And it knocked my body about so much that I shouldn't have any more.
How long have you been here now?
10 years.
What do you think about the shock treatment?
I think it's wonderful for everybody else.
You don't like it?
I think it's wonderful for me too.
Would you like it again?
No, never.
You scared of it?
Yes, I'm terrified.
biggest enemy in this place. Boredom of nothing to do. You just sit around all day or just pace the courtyard. That's all it's got me through. It's not allowing things to get on top of me. I just sat there, just fighting it mentally.
There isn't an answer to the boredom question, especially in this ward. It's a very strong issue. There's no real answer to it. The only answer is for the nursing staff in the ward to do their best to find activities for the patients. Often patients are kept in the ward, 24 hours a day. And to find something that interests people and can keep their interest is very difficult. Their attention span's usually very short. We find in reality that people do sit for long periods during the day doing nothing.
Hey, I'm Sticky.
Hi, Stephen. What have you been up to?
Oh, not much. A bit of this and a bit of that.
Stephen is 21. He has a history of antisocial outbursts that get him into trouble with the police, and he's on a 3-year bond for smashing up a jukebox. With his record of instability, Stephen finds it very hard to get a job, and he became depressed. He has come into Morrisset this time on the insistence of his probation officer.
What's this shit?
That's the key to psychiatry, mate. That's the key to all the problems.
They wrote a book about me, did they?
I don't know if it's about you. We have to have a look and see if you can find yourself in it.
Alright. Where's personality disorders?
Is that you, is it?
Yeah, that's me.
How do you know it's you?
Because I was told so.
Who told you so?
I'm not saying.
Do you believe it?
Oh, yeah. I believe it. You've got to put some label on you.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah. I'm not telling you, though. You know what it means.
You found it in the book?
Huh?
Have you found it in the book?
There you are. Antisocial or asocial personality disorder. Antisocial individuals are always in trouble, benefiting neither from experience nor punishment and maintaining no real loyalties to any person, group or code. They are callous and hedonistic, showing marked emotional immaturity with lack of sense of responsibility, lack of judgment and inability to rationalise their behaviour.
That's not you, is it?
It's warranted, reasonable and justified to them.
That's not you, is it?
Yeah, that's me.
It is.
Yeah. And what about this here, eh? I'm getting stelazine, which is for schizophrenia and a psychotropic drug, and it said that people with personality disorders are said to have become more socially adapted as a result of LSD therapy. All right, where's my LSD?
Like Laurie and so many of the people who come to these places, Stephen did not get much of a start in life.
Treatment though, would you?
Yes, I would.
My grandparents brought me up, 6 months old.
I don't think so.
My real mother lives down in Melbourne, and my father, I've never met him. I don't know where he is. I'm not allowed to contact him or anything either. His wife got a court order out for him not to contact me, and me not to contact him. Probably thinks I'd stuff up his life or something. Her life. If I just appeared on the scene after 20 years or something, pop my head up, there you going, old man.
This is Ward 21, and this is where they keep the criminally insane. In fact, that rather likeable young man we just met was placed here on a previous visit, but on that occasion he escaped with 2 of Australia's most notorious criminals, Crim and Monday. And since then they've upgraded security here, including the provision of this new electronic alarm fence. And coming here as an outsider for the first time, you certainly hope it all works, because it's difficult to come here without a feeling of apprehension, a feeling of fear, in fact, because in Ward 21 there always seems to be an undercurrent of resentment and imminent violence. When I first walked in, a lot of patients avoided me. Some talked to me without looking me in the eye, an old prison habit. Only a couple displayed the sort of erratic behaviour you might expect.
Of course, all were drugged. I met only one man who was obviously anxious to get out.
Do you think when you leave you can take me with you?
I can't take you with me. They wouldn't let me do that. No, they'd lock the door.
Against the law?
Yeah. You got to get better first.
I'll offer you money.
You offer me money? Oh, I can't take money. I can't get you out.
When Crib and Monday escaped from here, they went on a rampage of abduction and rape. Crib was already a triple murderer. But now that the security is much tighter, perversely there is a greater degree of danger for the nurses or visitors like me. Several nurses told me they fear that any future attempt to escape would need hostages, and the nurses are unarmed and have no access to arms. Even policemen are not allowed to bring guns in here. The danger of a patient getting possession of a weapon is too great. These men are predominantly murderers, and they suffer from mental illnesses. Walking among them, it's hard to face that reality, hard to equate your own fear and apprehension with the apparent calm of these prisoner patients.
I've done 11 years all told. I've been over to the other side now.
What happened?
I cracked up over practically nothing. It's just went around the bend.
A lot of people are here simply because they're not wanted in jail. They come up here and they get sick of them here and send them to jail, and jail cops them for a while, then sends them back.
That's right, yeah.
Why doesn't the jail want them?
Too much trouble for them, you know. They're
not equipped for it.
Yeah, they don't fit into the prison system properly, you know. They're not tractable.
In Morisset, progress can be slow and tough. It took Laurie 10 years to progress from Ward 21 to Ward 19. But it's taken Stephen only one lapse, lasting a matter of seconds, to get back to Ward 21. At lunch on this day, he lost his temper and threw a chair at another patient. So now he's back. You note that the privileges are significantly greater than in Ward 21, but it's still high security, and in some subtle ways, even more limiting than prison. Laurie has experienced both, and for him, there's no such thing as friendship here.
It's very hard to have any social activities going or any other type of activity because the patients are unaware of what to do, sort of, you know. Everyone lives in a sort of isolated world of their own.
Oh, no. Hey, Johnny. Don't do that. Don't eat the flowers.
She builds them up, don't worry about it.
You're afraid to a certain extent to become too emotionally involved with other patients because they drain everything out of you.
You got 2 boxes of matches, please. Give me 1 break.
You can give them a cigarette or buy them a Coca-Cola or something, and that's as far as your relationship goes.
Hey, young man. What's it be about?
It's a bit of chocolate.
Prince Charles and
Thanks very much, sir.
Wonder.
No, you have it.
What is it?
No, it's just a flat one.
What?
Yeah, I'm done now. I've only got one pair, see?
I'm supposed to flat.
Yeah, I'm finished. But you hang on to it, pal.
I can hang on to it.
Yeah, it's yours, sir.
You don't want me to do anything?
No coming at all. No worries at all, sir.
Don't put them on?
No, don't have to worry me. You're right, Spell. She's new. Don't worry about it, sir. No, it's far better than me. I don't want to take home an extra one, thicker one there, because they take it straight off in the middle of the night. It disappears. I don't know whatever happens to it. I would never ever know. But there's money in it for you. You'll do some good.
Yes, some people are grotesque. Their behaviour's ridiculous. Their speech is disgusting or unintelligible or whatever. But you have to look past that. Otherwise, if that's all you see, I don't think you can do your job at all.
Looks like a big device. What does it do?
The camera, Tim.
Doesn't make me tighter.
Yeah. No, it won't make you tighter.
What he said it will. Can I go on minimum tiredness, please, boss?
A lot of people are put here because they've upset someone in the community or because they're different to a degree that they alarm someone. And if that's all you see as a nurse, then your reaction to those people is going to be just so wrong. It's going to be the same as the people they've come here to gain asylum from.
Anyone behind you there, Bill? 1, 3, 4.
Confidence in institutions like Morisset lies directly in their ability to keep violent patients effectively locked up. Escape from wards like 21 or even 19 mean big trouble. But in some of the other wards, it's not so unusual to have someone abscond.
Can you ring up and get a car? Mark's wandered out through the back courtyard.
Righto. Hello, Jill.
Hey Mark, where'd you get to, mate?
I don't know.
You went for a walk, did you?
Yeah.
Would the voices get the better of you, mate?
Yeah.
You want to hop in, Mark?
Yeah.
Come on, mate. And you were on your way back, were you?
Yeah.
Do you remember what made you run off?
No.
Back again, mate.
That's it.
Come and see us next time you feel like running off, Mark. Hey.
Yeah.
Life wouldn't be interesting if we didn't do silly things.
Yeah, I know.
No, Mark. He's back.
Where did you go? For a little walk. Where'd you get to?
Down to the hospital.
Which hospital?
Morisset.
Morrisette Hospital.
And why did you go, Mark?
I know.
Well, we're glad you're back anyway.
Yeah. Mark is a problem because after 14 months in Ward 13, he's not getting any better. As can happen in psychiatric treatment, there's no apparent answer except to keep up the medication. Nurses must live with the fact that many of their patients may never be any better. And even the attempt to stabilise their condition can be dangerous, because if it takes too long, the patient can become institutionalised. Some of the most chronic cases are the alcoholics who have so destroyed parts of their memory that each night they need to be shown where their beds and lavatories are.
I'm glad you worked that out for me.
See you, man.
I get a beauty.
Okay, it's your bed, Joe. Yes, I do. Yeah, any smokes and matches in?
Smoking at night, for these people, of course, is simply too dangerous.
Where's your matches? Where's your lighter? And your baggie, yeah. There's your matches. That's it. Right on. You can get undressed and get into bed now.
It's late, and Mark is safely in bed, asleep. Tonight, Ward 13 has 22 men and only 2 women. Morris has had 1 new admission, but for the time being has lost Stephen to Ward 21. Peggy is showing signs of moving from her depressed state into her manic state, but right now she is stable and peaceful. John's battle with authority and boredom is over for 1 more day. His crutches lie beside his bed. The ward, at last, is quiet. Tomorrow is another day.
Morning, gents. Rise and shine. Breathe a new day dawning.
There will always be Ward 19s and 21s in this world. Society needs to be able to lock away those members whose behaviour becomes a danger to themselves or to others around them.
This happens every second or third morning. It makes a hell of a smell. And see all this sort of stuff. We've got to put up with this. We've got to wash it every morning. let them smell out. With this man, every couple of mornings he'll paint the walls with feces, urine, make puddles, tears the clothing up. For instance, there's one right there. It's his underpants torn to threads. All that's got to go in the laundry. It quite often happens anyhow.
These people, at this time, have no place in society. Some have been rejected by families, some by other hospitals. Some even have been rejected by our prisons. John will probably remain in Morisset for the rest of his life, living in a world of his own, talking to himself, and eating the clover. Men like John and George are unlikely to change their ways, and allowances are made for them.
Can we have a share, mate? A nice hot share, a cup of tea and a biscuit? Huh? Come on. Come on. George, what are you doing with the pants? Come on, mate. Come on, Glenn.
Come on the bed, mate. Some songs down there.
Huh?
Some songs down there. Put them on the bed.
No, they're all right.
Hey, not all right.
Come on, have a share, mate. That's it. That's it. Come on. Come on, George.
Take it along.
George.
Please.
Good on you, mate. Here, look here. Here's your hat. Here. Here.
Let me walk. Let me walk. Let me walk.
Oh.
Thank you. About with you.
If all goes well, Laurie will gradually receive more responsibilities and greater positions of trust. If he can ever prove his behaviour is under control, he may one day graduate towards 17. If he'd been serving a murder sentence in jail, he'd probably be out by now. For doing Governor's pleasure, he could easily spend the next 10 years or even the rest of his life here.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie.
Come on.
Nor does the future look good for Stephen. Today he will come out of Ward 21 and go back to 13. In a few days he will be released from the hospital. But not long after, the police will have cause to pick him up and he will be back in custody waiting to appear before the magistrate.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Very good. 2, 1 spoon, right? Okay.
And so the job falls mostly to the nurses, men like Les Wheeler and Morris Brown. The job is difficult, sometimes even dangerous.
What are you come up there about?
Come on, sit down. And if you measure job satisfaction in terms of the patient's improvement, then mostly it's very little, and there are no medals.
Sit down, George. George doesn't like people interrupting his thoughts. He's very aggressive, very aggressive. He likes to fight. He used to fight from the old days. He thinks he owns the place, and he's invading his privacy, so he's going to put him out. Mr. McDonald was wiping the table down, and apparently he might have touched it with a cloth or something. He was wiping the table down, and George admired it. So he's going to fight again.
I'll drop you there, that's what I'll do to you.
Bob likes to have a bit of a fight. He likes a bit of a fight. George likes to have a bit of a go as well, so they're entertainment, I suppose. But I think it keeps George alive to have a bit of a go.
I don't think this is the answer to mental illness. It's probably far and removed from the best answer, but it's the only answer we've got at the moment, and we have to do the best we can with what we've got. I don't think we do a bad job with what we've got. I hope our patients don't think we do too bad a job.
on 7 now for the Australian movie thriller The Cars That Ate Paris, starring Wendy Hughes and John Mellion, followed at 10:15 by more action on Big League Soccer. And then tomorrow night at 8:30, Patty Duke Austin stars in Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby, the spine-chilling sequel to the original blockbuster.